What up, world? Waxvillain, Seattle, Washington. Special edition live stream. This is hometown love, as I call it. So for those that don't know, in the Washington area, one of my favorite labels is Thematique. I learned about them last year and was just a big fan. I really liked the content that they were putting out on Instagram, and the music was even better. Really big fan of everything they do. Different types of releases, soul, funk, and of course, hip-hop, instrumental. They've been putting out a lot of great stuff last year, this year, and I wanted to take some time to talk about one of the records that I got from them. I want to say like January or so. But before I do, I want to say please make sure you go follow Thematique on Instagram. Check out their site. They've got a lot of great music. Again, big fan of everything they do. I see them as very boutique-like because they're always paying attention to the details. The product is always premium, and the music sounds great. So go check them out. The record I want to talk about today is this bad boy right here. Okay, I want to take this out real quick. So this is what started it for Thematique, right? Okay, the album is called Quick Trigger, Paces, Lift, and Bend Bounce. We're going to talk about that, but I just want to really show you this first so you can kind of see what's going on here. Really nice artwork. And for those that love instrumental hip-hop, I think you'll look at this and say, gee, that looks like something I might have seen before. That's because the artwork was done by Monster Rally. Really cool cover there. You can kind of see the Western in the middle, kind of a psych look, you know, things going on the side. And that might be a good way to kind of describe some of the music on here. Before I talk about that, I kind of want to get into the story. I have a history as a beat maker, and you know, when it came to this record right here, Paces, Lift, and Bend Bounce, the story is what really kind of stuck with me. So I'm going to paint a picture with words for you, and it kind of goes like this. You've got two gentlemen who are, you know, spinning hip-hop records in St. Louis. They're running into each other, bumping heads. And the group that they were with, I believe the name, let's see, it was DJ Who, and he started this crew of DJs. I think it was Basement Sound System, right? And one of the things that BSS would do is have these beat battles. And so Paces, Lift, Bend, Bounce, they were gaining respect, right? Their work was something to hear, and they would compete against each other in these beat battles, right? So over time, the friendship builds, there's respect, and there's a decision made, hey, we should collaborate. So something that Bend Bounce was doing, it's this thing like 30 in 30 days, right? So 30 beats, 30 days. The idea for the project was 60 beats, 30 days, then they'd go ahead and kind of pick, you know, the cream of the crop, if you will. And, you know, just a little background on kind of how they go about digging. One of the things that I thought was really interesting, and I would say this is kind of how I am, similar to Pace Lift, I want to listen to everything on the record, you know, before I spend that $10, right? I'm very particular. I'm listening. I'm looking at the back of the cover. There's just a lot of things going through my head before I'm going to even go for one record, where Bend Bounce is the guy who would go to the 99-cent bin and take a stack of records, not sample anything, and just get to work, right? True physical sample packs like my folks at Waxvillain do. Shout out to Waxvillain. And so that's kind of the style behind it. And for me as a beat maker and a record collector, I kind of look at that and I'm just kind of like, wow. Because the samples on here, you could have fooled me. They don't sound like they came from a 99-cent bin. So that's a compliment to Bend Bounce there. But essentially, they're crafting these beats, okay? Once they're done, I think they might have finished with about 70, okay? And from there, they started chipping away. This was a true labor of love, really kind of whittling it down to, I think there's 14 tracks, and it clocks in at about 49 minutes. But here's the dope thing about this record. You never know that there were two different people making the beats because it's very seamless and it sounds great together, track after track. There's not a break where you're like, okay, it sounds a little different. It's very consistent. The flow is right. And, you know, I kind of hear like a little bit of a cinematic sound. And, you know, when I was listening, right, we kind of see the cover there. So that gives us an idea. Spaghetti Western, maybe some psych sounds. But I see it as more than that. And I listened to every track multiple times. And what I got out of it was this. There are so many like Easter eggs sprinkled throughout some of these beats. In fact, it wasn't like who would sound good on this. It was kind of like, oh, wow, this sounds like a so-and-so beat, right? Like, you know it when you hear it. And I give them credit for that because they took the attention to detail. Another thing that I want to focus on when we talk about these beat albums, right? Oftentimes the tracks are short. They're like 2 minutes and it's a 4-bar loop over and over and over again. And if you love the beat, that's great. These are different, okay? We're talking about, I want to say, I saw most tracks around 4 minutes, maybe some are 3 minutes. But what's awesome about this is that the beat builds over time. There's different change-ups. And so it really kind of kept me listening because I knew that first minute, right, where a lot of other beat tapes, that first minute is just going to be repetitive. And it's not like that. I also got a vibe of beat battle when I listen to these. And I've competed in beat battles, so I kind of understand that formula and the theory behind it. But it's that kind of vibe. It's that power, cinematic, totally cinematic feels as you're listening to this. One of the things that I really loved about this is that they're taking, like, if you could imagine, like, the audio from crime movies and kind of intertwining it into the beats to be an intro, maybe the midpoint or the end point. I love that because for me that reminds me of a Doom record, maybe a couple different Doom records, and so it made me think of Doom, and I love that. It really added a nice touch to each of the tracks that they did that to, but there's so much flavor on this, and I'm going to play some snippets from the record, but honestly, a 20-30 second snippet does not do any of the beats justice. It's really like you put this on the turntable, you sit down, you put your feet up, and you listen to it because it's like an audio experience. And I can't say that for a lot of beat tapes. When I stopped collecting records, or stopped collecting records and kind of listening to hip hop years ago, I went to instrumental music. And I loved it. I love the lo-fi sound. But again, a lot of it is repetitive. And so, I don't mind that stuff. I'm a repeater anyways when there's music that I really like. But this is not like that. This is really not like that. I think this is a special record. And what I haven't even got to yet, if you love hip-hop, great. If you love lo-fi beats, awesome. This is an awesome blueprint for beat makers, right? And I tell you why. Because you have two people collaborating, right? In theory, different styles. But I think if you listen to this, you can learn a lot as a beat maker. I know I had my beat maker hat on as I was listening, even though I'm retired from the game, and I was picking up what they were doing. And I think this is just a really great, piece of music, reference material for beat makers, sample junkies to listen to because you'll really appreciate it. Like I said, I thought these samples were very high end, and to know that some of them might have been from the 99-cent bin, I tip my hat. I think that's very, very impressive, especially just not knowing what you're getting. Because I know many records that I pull sometimes when I would want to sample them, I'd be like, this is no good. So props to Benny Bounce on that and Pace Lift. Some of my favorite tracks on this, so let's see here. I like He That Harms My Brother Parts 1 and 2. Totally loved Soul Walk. 20 Thugs is hard. I love You've Been Down, and I'm going to play some of those. But also, right, what comes with this record is this beautiful slip mat. Tell me that wouldn't look nice on your turntable, right? Again, the art by Monster Rally. So this is kind of like a complete package deal, if you ask me. Yeah, this is a special one. This is definitely a special one. We're looking at standard black vinyl. I'm trying to think, what were the other things that were coming to my mind last night when I was listening to this? I just really appreciate the flavor, and I think the work that they put into this was awesome. I wanted to make sure to kind of, give it a little visibility because some of you, like me, love these beat tape albums and things like that. And it's truly a love of labor on this. Again, I just need to really shine the light on the fact that when we get this physical record, that is the tip of the iceberg. These guys put a lot of their personal time into creating this body of work, these compositions. And I'd love for you to just go take a listen. If beats is your thing, you should check this out. I think you're really going to love it. It doesn't sound like anything that I've heard before or another producer that I could compare to. And I think that's what makes Wax Thematique so special. Like I said, boutique label. They're very good at what they do. They're about premium products and the attention to detail. And I've been following them for a while, and I see release after release. It's the same thing. So let's go ahead and take a spin real quick. I'm going to do my best to try and find the tracks on here that I want to play for you. Let's see, get that bad boy on. All right, so 2, 3.
Thank you for letting us come visit. It's nice to have you.
Very much kind of like a Doom vibe to me. I was totally geeking when I heard this.
Really come out.
Killer artwork.
Something funny about that second one. Look, he's all spindly, and his head's funny. Yeah, his head's funny.
These little like movie lines right here are the things that I love to kind of dress up with my beats, and I'm really glad that they did this. I just think it adds a touch to it. It gives us something not just to hear, but to kind of think about up here. So now that I'm thinking about it, this could totally go on a Victor Vaughn album. Totally go on a Victor Vaughn album. I was imagining him rhyming over that. I think these are some of the Easter eggs they were maybe talking about. Big fan of that one. Let's see here. Sick guitar. Sick. Very hard, very hard. So that one kind of motivates me. When I hear this, this is something that I would listen to in the gym to work out, to get pumped up, because it has that vibe. That's kind of that beat battle sound that I know, I love, and I've always kind of admired. And I don't think that we hear it a lot on LPs or even on a lot of beat instrumental tapes. And it's no knock to these guys. I love that they did it this way. I love that vibe and that sound. And there's a lot of tracks that kind of sound like that. Let's spin some more. So I dropped the needle where I wanted to on this one. This part of the song is something that I just absolutely loved. And I'm talking about the beat building and everything like that. The samples right here, this reminds me of the hip hop that I fell in love with when I was a kid, that 90s boom bap sound. And man, I tip my hat. We're gonna flip the side. Heavy vinyl too. This is 180 grams, right? No corners cut here. So let's see, that's clot, delusion, effect. All right, let's see. Let me tell you something. When the shit starts like that, man, when you're at a beat battle, everyone goes crazy. I was knocking my head last night at like 2 a.m. to this. I love the way this starts. This is a really exciting track to me. This gets me excited. That I get all these like chills sometimes. Like I want to break out my drum pad and I want to start flipping samples and things like that. But like I said, I'm retired. I'm done with it, and I can live through records like this. Let me put this back again, man. One of the hardest tracks on here to me. See that little flip right there? Oh, man. I don't even have to play you anymore. You see my reaction, my enthusiasm over this record. Absolutely love it. That track just kind of, it juiced me. I was feeling tired before this. I'm not feeling tired anymore. I feel pumped up, very motivated. Folks, Wax Thematic's the label, right? Paces, lift, bend, bounce. This is the record that set it off for Wax Thematic. It's available online. I want you to go check out Wax Thematic store. See the other music they have out there. They have some dope clothes too. Please support my Seattle family, right? Wax Thematic. Quick Trigger's the name of the album. Artwork, Monster Rally. You got to hear some of the different tracks on there, and I think there's something on here for everyone. But the fact of the matter is this. If you love flipping samples, if you love beat instrumentals, this one's for you. Shout out to Wax Thematic. Really proud of everything that you guys are doing. I'm so happy to kind of rep from Seattle for you as a fan and try and support you in a different capacity like this. But absolutely love this record. Very, very cool. Y'all know what to do. Waxvillain, Seattle, Washington. I'm out.